Okay, great. I brought my phone up here because this is my second year at Big Sky. Am I saying it right? Big Sky, Big Ideas. But this was the first time that we took a tour of the print and fulfillment shop over across the way there. And one of the things that caught my attention was the 8 deadly wastes. And I said, wow, I should hang this up at work because some of what I'll highlight today, PFL and Salesforce helped me tremendously in solving for several of these, including defects, overproduction, and excessive inventory. So I'm very excited to share with you some of the success that we've had over the past 2 years working with both Salesforce as well as PFL. Excited to share some of the accomplishments resulting from that partnership and the effort that it took to stand up Salesforce within our enterprise was the collective effort of multiple areas within our enterprise. As a 6,000 member organization, we were the first segment within Blue Cross to actually stand up Salesforce within the company, and we're also the smallest, about 4% of the nearly 900,000 lives that we insure as an organization. So we're small but mighty, and we're innovators in a way. So let me go to the first slide. So a bit of background on me. I am the marketing manager within the individual business unit, as was mentioned, and in the individual business unit, we develop, market, and sell plans to people who don't have group insurance coverage. Those plans that we sell are plans that are administered under the guidelines of the Affordable Care Act, commonly referred to as Obamacare. And my VP likes to say that we're a retail business that lives inside of a wholesale organization, and he couldn't be more right about that. But we live in an industry that's very complex, and it values decision-making that's based on data. And when you couple that with the complexity of the industry, when that's coupled with the retail nature of our business, the need for our marketing programs to be launched using real-time, actionable data more effectively and efficiently, it becomes critical. So two of the things I want to point out today is how Salesforce and PFL facilitated a sea change in the way that we do business to meet those two objectives and the convergence of those two points. So one of the first initiatives that we undertook once we stood up our instance of Salesforce was to optimize the welcome and onboarding of our new members. Onboarding our new members at that time was a very painful process. It was a pain point. It took an inordinate amount of time, approximately 14 days after a customer became a member before they received any sort of communication from us. And so we set out to change that, and we looked at ways as to how we can fix that process. We were dealing with legacy systems, several different outdated modes of gathering data and information from disparate systems all across the company. And so a person on our team would have to work with 2 other internal departments plus a print vendor in order to create an email list and then send that list to a print house to have our physical pieces printed and fulfilled. So not only was it a pain point for the IBU, it was a pain point from a customer experience perspective across the enterprise. And so we set a corporate goal actually to reduce the amount of time that it took to send these welcome communications to our members by about 40%. So it was a lofty goal, but we set out to do it because we knew we would have some tools at our disposal that would allow us to do that. So that's where Salesforce and PFL entered the picture. So the improved delivery efficiency was made possible through integration with Salesforce Marketing Cloud, as well as integration with PFL's tactile marketing automation tool. So the lists that are utilized for our welcome journeys, it's all created within the Marketing Cloud environment. A list is created automatically based on triggers from our membership system. So there's no transfer of data to a print vendor. It's all done pretty seamlessly within the tool. Working with PFL, we're able to map the variable fields within those pieces and then send them out to the appropriate member. So, but we can do this based on customer preferences. If, for instance, a member doesn't have an email address, of course, we can send them down a journey where they will receive a physical piece. If they have an email address, however, they'll go down a path where they'll receive a series of emails which will give them pertinent information regarding their plan. But one of the things that really makes this possible is the fact that PFL is an App Exchange partner with Salesforce. So we can use drag and drop functionality to create that print option within Marketing Cloud. So just by utilizing this technology, we reduce the amount of time to get these materials in the hands of our members by 73%. So a four-day average, we knocked it out of the park. It exceeded even our expectations. So a second objective that we undertook after setting up our instance of Salesforce was to improve the delivery of some of our collateral pieces. So within the health insurance space, there are some materials that have compliance implications. The federal government mandates that we get them into people's hands in a specified amount of time. They also specify that they contain specific information. At the time, prior to deploying Salesforce, it was a very painful experience to get these materials into our members' hands, and it often resulted in a lot of missed deadlines. It resulted in some compliance violations, and so we had to find a way to solve for this. Prior, again, to implementing our version of Salesforce and our partnership with PFL, we were versioning by spreadsheet. We didn't have a way to keep track of the level of customization that would be required to provide that level of customization to each of our members. We were required to provide plan effective dates, for instance. And so at that time, we were sending files manually to our print vendor via an FTP or via secured mail. And so there wasn't any real coordination to allow for that seamless integration between our systems and to communicate with our print vendors. So we really had to find a way to decrease our costs and increase our efficiency. And so again, this is where Salesforce and PFL came into play. So by initiating our print fulfillment activities through Marketing Cloud, it again resulted in a sea change in the way that we do business. We were able to realize a 56% reduction in our production costs and a 50% reduction in processing time. And again, this was due to the fact that all of the data transfers occur within Marketing Cloud. Again, we're using the technology enabled by the TMA that allows us to map those variable fields directly into Marketing Cloud to transfer the data over to PFL to generate any print fulfillment requests. Essentially, these requests are printed or produced in real time. We have sales consultants called health plan advisors. They sit on our floor in Michigan. And if a customer calls up and says, hey, I would like a product brochure, can you get it out to me? The HPA can trigger an order in Service Cloud. It goes over into Marketing Cloud, and it generates an order that's kicked over to PFL, and it's printed and sent to the customer in a matter of days. So it's truly awesome. It's changed the way we do business. We don't have that inventory sitting on hand. that would cause us to experience rush orders in the event that the inventory is low. And there's no manual file creation. So again, it's changed the way that we do business, and we're adhering in terms of our compliance, and it's been great. So the examples that I shared with you, it speaks to how we've evolved our marketing strategy and how we've matured since we've deployed Salesforce and since we've partnered with PFL. It's a direct result of us being able to leverage those capabilities within both of those tools. We've also been able to work with a number of internal and external partners as it relates to our analytics, our targeting, and our strategy development. And we worked on that with both Salesforce as well as PFL. And as we continue to mature, we'll move from just being campaign focused to doing more A/B testing, again, making those communications more personalized, more relevant. And because that involves increased variation and customization, you need tools that will allow you to do that. And we wouldn't be able to use that granularity of data without having tools such as Salesforce and PFL. So it's been tremendous. It's actually changed the way that we look at how we ultimately want to improve as a marketing practice. They say if you shoot for the moon, you'll be amongst the stars. We talked about orchestrated marketing. It's been called omni-channel. And that's what we're looking to do as we move forward. Right now, within the platform, we're using it for direct mail, HBA outbound phone campaigns, SMS text, display ads. But as we become more mature and we're able to land more data within our instance, the sky's the limit. We'll be able to do more behavior-based triggers. And again, we may be able to do some more voice of customer insights because we'll be able to do some more social targeting and what have you. So again, the evolution continues. It doesn't end. So short and sweet, in terms of my takeaways from my experience over the past 2 years of working with Salesforce and working with PFL, if I had to give my 2 cents as to how you should proceed with your marketing automation efforts, it would be to understand that it's not for the faint of heart. It's a team effort. As I mentioned earlier, it requires a collaboration and coordination amongst your whole organization. And with change, you will encounter some resistance. A lot of times people are fearful of change. And the way that I've looked at it is that you can be an ambassador for change. And sometimes by communicating the successes that you've had with a tool, it'll make people more receptive to learn more about it. And so people are actually reaching out to us sort of, again, as these ambassadors of this change. And it's been really exciting and energizing for our company. Lastly, or secondly, I would say, thinking about your teams and how your teams are aligned, I would think about organizing your teams to be more journey-centric, more customer-centric. One of the things that I'm looking to roll out over the next few months is to organize our teams around journeys. So that person would be responsible for a series of work or a body of work from ideation all the way to optimization. So, and that could be around customer engagement, it could be around retention, acquisition, but it would be a program manager that would, again, be responsible for the entire life cycle of a campaign. Next, plan. And when I say plan for the unexpected and the expected. You probably want to develop timelines, but you're probably going to have to double them. You want to allow plenty of time for runway. I know it took us over a year to provision all of the data that we wanted to use within Salesforce, and we're still adding data elements. As we look to develop new programs, there's more data that we're asking our informatics team and our IT teams to source for us, and it takes time to do that. So Again, you're gonna develop these timelines, but again, adjust accordingly and set expectations accordingly. And lastly, what I would recommend is to establish some sort of a framework that will allow you to vet and analyze any sort of new capabilities or new apps that you want to procure from the App Exchange to make sure they're compatible with your organization and your goals and objectives. And then once you scope that out, of course, you're going to have to scale it accordingly, pick out the right components of whatever that solution is, and then deploy it and measure the results. And it's going to be a continuous cycle, no matter what the capability. I know with PFL, from RFI to our first order being launched, it took over a year. We're still in the process of evaluating newer capabilities. We're looking at Google 360, we're looking at Einstein, and these are this is the framework that we're deploying against that to evaluate if it's something that we want to bring in-house. So with that, I can take any questions. I'll be at the dinner, I'll be here tomorrow, and I'm happy to share more information regarding our experience.